welcome back to Studio STL. We're talking about the Revolutionary War and the drama with it. It didn't just end on July 4th. Exactly 250 years ago. There's a lot more to it than you think. And we're learning more with celebrity historian Raffi Andonian. Good to see you again.
Hey, good to see you. It was an eventful year in 1776.
It was. You know, it doesn't matter what time period. Drama will always exist.
That's
okay?
right. That's right.
So tell us, what was the beef between John Hancock and Alexander Hamilton's father-in-law?
So you all know the Hamilton musical.
Yes.
Alexander Hamilton and his father-in-law was caught in this drama. So John Hancock, of course, he is president of Congress. Here's the Declaration of Independence just from a couple of weeks earlier. And there's the gigantic signature of John Hancock that he is famous for because, of course, he is the president of Congress. And he gets in touch with General Philip Schuyler, who is the father-in-law of Alexander Hamilton, who's in the battlefield, and says, hey, we've heard that there's discord amongst your men, amongst your soldiers, and Congress is looking into this, and scolds him for it and says, you got to get your men under control and not have this kind of dissipation of morale. Well, that ends up being a serious problem because he's concerned about disunion. So that's why I brought in this flag here, the join or die flag, which, of course, when you is the snake that's broken into pieces that Ben Franklin designed, actually, and wanted to understand that if the states fall apart or they act as individuals, they're not going to be able to, they're going to die. It's join or die. And so that's the idea behind this fear of disunion, and that's playing into this drama between Congress and this general. Well, what ends up, and part of the reason this is happening is because Schuyler is from an elite New York Dutch family, and his wife is also, and most of the men are common men, so it doesn't really go very well. Well, there's even more drama. Get this, there were some issues that he had invading Canada earlier, and shortly after this, there is a loss at Fort Ticonderoga, and as a result, Schuyler gets relieved of his duties. An elite New York guy who served in Continental Congress and now is a general gets relieved of his duties, gets kicked out of his position as a result of this drama.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, you know, our reaction now. I can only imagine what it was back then.
That's right. That's right. Now,
talk of the town.
Exactly. Now, get this, though. You would think he just kind of disappears into the sunset. Not what happens. He still actually hangs out around his replacement, helps a little bit in the background with some strategy and logistics, ends up being a key role in the Battle of Saratoga just months after relieved from duty. Saratoga is famous because it was an American victory, and the French joined the American Revolution on the side of the U.S. as a result of that battle. So now he kind of resuscitates his career a little bit, ends up demanding a court-martial so that he can so he can clean his name, wins the court-martial next year. Now he kind of goes back home, talk of the town like you said, ends up being elected back into Continental Congress.
What?
That's right, and later on ends up being elected into the Senate twice, including the first Senate. And guess who his successor was after his first term in the Senate?
Who?
None other than Aaron Burr, the guy who later went on to shoot Alexander Hamilton in the duel and kill him. That would be his son-in-law. So his successor was the guy that ended up becoming vice president and killing Alexander Hamilton, believe it or not. So that's how the story comes back around to connect to Hamilton, because his daughter, Schuyler's daughter, our guy's daughter, married Hamilton. And oddly enough, the opponent that he had in Senate ends up coming around to kill Hamilton in the duel later. Isn't that incredible? I know, really, isn't it incredible? It's just unbelievable how the dots connect for something like this.
Listen,
and that's the story in the drama.
I think you need to submit this to a Netflix or a Hulu. I need to see this on my TV screen because this is drama.
It really is. I mean, you have the story of the downfall, and then he comes back up, right? And then the connection amongst the people that we're talking about is just unbelievable. So
I love like backstories like this.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
We see how it all ended and you know stuff like that, but the backstory to it all is just as good. I love that.
It happens exactly 250 years ago today, starting with the scolding by John Hancock to Schuyler that starts a series and chain reaction of events as a result of that.
This is so interesting. You guys, This guy is amazing when we talk about all the historical facts. Celebrity historian Raffi Andonian, he gives tours. If you want to reach out and take a tour with him, just head to his website. You can give him a like and follow on social media. He also has his YouTube page. But this guy, you will not leave without a fun fact, a tidbit, you name it. Thanks for coming on the show, Raffi.
Hey, you thought the 250th was over on July 4th? Still going on, and it's actually going on for the next several years throughout the American Revolution's anniversaries.
There you have it. Keep it here, Studio STL. We'll be right back.